A year ago, the most ambitious thing I wanted to do was type in the air like a video game character. That's it. But instead, I ended up starting something called a startup, which is like a small company that can get big, kind of like Facebook or something like that. A quick preface before this is going to be a series of episodes of everything I wished I knew when I started out. I have so much footage from all of this, and I was thinking about how to tell the story while also helping people, and I've got this friend called Kevin who wants to learn about startups, so here you go. Also, TLDR on what I do, I wanted to type in air, but that became touching video games like in VR and being able to operate drones and robots. It's called On Zero. It's pretty epic. Yeah, so my background is I was 19, got 600K from a really cool fund. It's something called venture capital, so they're kind of like professional gamblers, but with logic, and they make kind of things like Facebook exist in the world. It's pretty sick. So I'm going to teach you a bit about what that world is, because last year I thought VC meant voice chat. For me, when I was 19, I got 600K. That got me on a whole load of news sources. That's good to have. It's not really what gets you money or whatever else. After that, some awards at some international conferences and stuff like that. Now we're over at the patent stage, and we are working with universities to roll this out and giving it to beta testers. Some include like some of the top YouTubers in our sector, which is really cool. And I also started the fastest growing hardware community in Australia. It's kind of like saying you're the tallest dwarf because there isn't that many in the first place, but we're making it pretty awesome, and there's a few thousand people.
Anyway, Ace's hardware meetup, yeah, it was absolutely packed. Yeah, they need to find a bigger venue. It's like they had like 50, 70 people on the wait list ready to get in. They had to turn them away, so they're beating them off with a stick. Yeah, this thing's killing it.
So I've had to learn a bit through all of this, and it's been really cool. Okay, so before we get into the real rules of startups and stuff, the first one is work with a friend. Like, if this is your first company ever, one, you're gonna be lonely, and two, you're gonna be overwhelmed. So I'd highly recommend finding someone that you like. I happen to have done projects with this guy called Sean in the past, and I saw that he had this Sword Art Online figurine, it's some anime, that really aligned with a lot of stuff that I loved about VR. And so we had a common sense of humor, and he was really competent, so. This is me. This is him. This is my co-founder, Sean. He's very cool. We met in college. We're in his college dorm messing around.
Former mechatronics engineer, now turned cripping slave.
Cripping slave. Alright, time for the real rules. The first one is every VC, venture capitalist, so these are the people who give you a ton of money to start with. This may just be at the idea stage for something called pre-seed. They're all Pokemon. You're also a Pokemon, which essentially means everyone has an element, right? So for me, for example, this is who I was, and so how did this really align with the investors that I took? Now, I did not want to start a company. I wanted to make an open source project because I was into the quantum physics space really young, like 15, so I started teaching pretty early on too, and so when I saw that I couldn't accelerate my classes in Australia, I started feeling like I was falling behind, like I wasn't learning, and so I kept on making more and more things, and in college I was collectively known as the e-waste queen, because I would constantly go out into the campus and take things back into my room. I'd have pipes everywhere, and I literally slept under my bed frame so that I essentially lifted it up with books so I'd have a bigger workbench, and I had my soldering stuff on the balcony so the fire alarms wouldn't go off. It was awesome. And then eventually this group called Blackbird had this thing called Foundry, so it was for researchers and stuff to learn what a startup was. Yeah, so Blackbird found me. Sometimes you have to go out on the hunt for them, but for me, this was a pretty good match. I actually went off and considered quite a few before raising because I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do a company, so I wanted to make sure the people I was talking to who wanted a return from me were good people, I guess, or that we would, work together well in the long term. And so, yeah, I did it. I would say Blackbird funds, the stubborn early stage people, the kind of people who say, we will only IPO. IPO just means become publicly traded, so huge as a company. So kind of big gamblers, but also people who love what they do, I guess. One thing I always wanted as a kid when I was making games was the hardware for it, and then I happened to go on to do electrical engineering. Tends to help. So that's sort of how I got my first leading investor. Yeah, but essentially a few other people had reached out. Right after closing my pre-seed, like Sequoia APAC Edition had reached out. I had considered YC and a few other places, but another really interesting thing is when you're raising, you have to know when you're raising too much and when you're raising too little. Because for me, I knew that the VR space was kind of dead, but there was a big potential in it as well. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to overpromise to people and that they were willing to support what I wanted to do throughout that. And these people were pretty aligned on what I saw for it. And so they were a good investor. The truth is, the world is run by humans, and you can't get luck by cold emailing people. People want to know that you're also not a skinwalker. This is not legal advice. Do not ever blame me for this, but this is how I've done things. The rule is, sometimes you have to be in the room, and sometimes the room is very far away. Sometimes the room is hard to get into. For me, so there was this event in California, open source, and I also just needed to go to San Francisco. This was before I was like properly raised, and I just wanted to know if it was worth it. Like, I needed to see Silicon Valley and stuff, because like you see like the jokes and what's going on there, but if you're not there, it sucks. So basically, open source had every maker and creator who builds weird stuff in one building, and I had decided to be there. I was 19 and broke. Like, genuinely broke. When I was in university, I remember not being able to get let back into my room because I needed to pay $20 and I had like 70 cents. So I did the horrible idea of borrowing $10,000 from a rich international student whose third account had like 300K in it. And I would not suggest it, but it was good. I ended up over there. It was not comfortable, but opportunity after opportunity arose, and that's how I knew I wanted to do what I wanted to do quite early on. And look, like, this was the first really crazy example, but there's always, like, something that you have to do. I wrote, like, an entire life story for one early investor so they knew that I was real. And yeah, there's these other times of ending up in like Mike Tyson's mansion to find like some top person in XR. Even at open source the second time around, we've met like the top of XR at NVIDIA and stuff. It's really cool. But yeah, the truth is, like, San Francisco isn't a great place to live. Like, there's incredible people there, same as LA. But what you're going for is really just to meet people, find money, and occasionally you find just someone awesome in your space that really inspires you. But yeah, you can't really, sadly, get everything done from Sydney or wherever you live if it's not literally the Bay Area. Though I will say China has some cool stuff going on. But yeah, I did pay that friend back. So, other advice, always pay your friends back. The people who are saving you aren't normally the people that you're pitching. So, right, I go over to open source, right? And I've flown out for one event, and then people in the valley find out you're there, and they want to meet, and over, they want you to pitch. Suddenly you have negative $10,000, and you're starving, and you're trading you lost money for, like, meme coins to get a return or whatever else, because a coffee in San Francisco costs $15. So yeah, the people who caught me were not a single investor I was chasing, or like a person I needed to talk to. The Muslim Stanford Society actually kind of adopted me and fed me and made sure that this broke foreign teenager was alive. I had a bit of a mishap one night, and they had saved my ass, and it was great. And yeah, I will never forget any of that. And this is one rule. Normally the people who are actually saving you are not the ones that you're chasing after. Value your friends and value your relationships. The other startups you're friends with are going to help you, right? If your PCB breaks and you need some new replacement, they're normally the people who are going to help you out. Clock them. Like, remember who these people are, and help them as well. Like, it's a very tit-for-tat industry. Access doesn't mean that you actually belong. So this is one rule. Proximity to power does not mean that you're powerful or have made it. and you shouldn't treat it that way, and you shouldn't flex those kind of people, because they're also just people and they don't want their name being dragged around. Once you have a little money, you got an award, the world starts inviting you to things. CES, Mike Tyson's party mansion, me making small talk with lawyers and political campaigners like it's a normal Tuesday. Then China, the Canton Fair, which is like the biggest trade show in China, and honestly it's more like a city that sells things. It's so big. At one point I partied with a governor. I'm just gonna keep saying these flatly and let you sit with them. Then China invited me back, officially, as a foreign expert consultant. Me, the e-waste queen. And here's the rule, because it's the one that keeps you sane. Access does not mean that you belong. Every single person at that table is a liar. They're all out of their depth, and they're just in really nice outfits. The mansion, titles, or political people, none of it's real. Don't confuse being near this sort of stuff with having actually built anything or actually having power. They're not related. There's a massive difference. Also, I'm gonna add, any investor that's actually worth having on your board is gonna see through this. So, like, stop. Like, at least when you're at a coffee chat, shut up just for a second and listen to them. Like, they might be stupid, but they also might actually be someone to learn from. And I'm someone who doesn't like mentors, so if I actually find someone to learn from, hell yeah. And I did. And one of the truest things I actually know about startups is basically everyone here is running from something. Whether it's the person getting a Lamborghini or a Rolex the moment that their round clears, or the person who's up at 4 a.m. coding. Everyone's trying to escape something. I think this one's really important to talk about because if you continue burning on bad fuel, eventually you'll break down. So I'll include mine. I moved every 6 months in my childhood, and just before uni, my whole life came apart. When I was 14, my dad got cancer, and just before I went to university, I had to see him die. There was a lot of other horrible things going on at the time, and it made it so incredibly impossible to focus. But that's why I loved making stuff. One, I was stubborn and spiteful, but two, when you're so focused and you're trying to make something, you never think, right? I became obsessed with math and like building all of these different things because suddenly I was no longer in the life where I was, you know, a caretaker or whatever else, and I didn't have to be strong. I just had to make something fun, and that was my way of escaping. Now, if you don't name something like this, it's gonna quietly eat you alive. So before you raise $1, figure out, like, what's going on in your own head. Sometimes you can figure it out as it's going, but it might not end well. So it's good to be on the right page about who you are before you're doing this sort of stuff, but sometimes walking before you're fully ready is good too. I realized when I was doing it how many people I was helping and could help, and how much impact I could have on the world. And that's what really changed it for me. Hey, so that's all for now. Sorry that this video is edited kind of poorly. I just wanted to get something out. So if you have any ideas that you want me to talk about, like accounting or whatever else, write that in the comments or email me or whatever else. I'm Frisia. Goodbye. Boop.